What is up, guys? I'm Jen. Welcome to another Wuthering video. Now, in today's video, we're taking a look at the updated tier list of patch 1.1 with the addition of Jinhsi. Again, we're using PrideWin.gg for this, so definitely make sure to check them out. Link is in the description down below. I really think they make a very good job on multiple gacha games, so I don't use them only for Wuthering Waves, but as well as, for example, for Honkai Historial, because I really like their work, and most of the time I do agree with what they state on their tier lists. And yeah, maybe let's get into this. So maybe I go over the categories again. We have the DPS, the hybrids, and the support characters. And with the current edition, we have Jinhsi as a new character in the DPS category. Besides that, I think there are no really significant changes. So yeah, this tier list is also based on Tower of Adversity, basically the hardest content at the moment at the game. And yeah, for that I probably go over most of the characters and talk about them a little bit. If there are not any significant changes, I probably will keep it short. But for now, we have the addition Jinhsi, definitely in the DPS category, a tier 0 character. So maybe we can take a look more into detail, so like into her calculations. So I think the most realistic is the S0. This is in a 13.65 rotation time, and she has a damage of nearly 600,000 and 43,500 DPS, so damage per second basically. So this is like the most realistic that you should watch out for, because I think the majority of players will have a Jinhsi on S0. Now, if you want to compare this to the next best unit in this category, in the DPS category, who is Jian, who was the first limited character. So let me open this real quick. Like, let's see how close they are each other. And as you can see, there's already a very big gap. So I'd clearly say Jinhsi currently is the best DPS character, but she's also just the second limited character just to release. So we get Zhang just in a couple of days, couple of weeks too. And I think she will be in the tier 0 category as well. But how strong will she be compared to Jinhsi is the question. And now today we just got, I think not today, couple of days ago, we just got the, not couple of, what do I say? We just got the new characters for patch 1.2 already revealed. We don't know which roles they take yet, but if there is one DPS character, then probably I'd say that he will be in this tier 0 category, probably 2, and he will be a new challenger to the best DP, to challenge for the best DPS character in the game, probably. So yeah, I think this is a clear gap. So Jian only has 400,000 and 33,000 DPS, so this is a difference of nearly 200,000 damage, as well as 13,000 DPS. This is a lot. This is for a rotation time of 13.65 seconds, and this is a rotation time for 12.1 seconds. So there is a 1 second difference. Yeah. So his rotation time is 1 second faster than the one from Jinhsi. But I think this 1 second never can make up this nearly 200k damage and this 13,000 k DPS, like for sure. Okay. So that's already really insane. And he's still in the tier 0 category. So I really think that as we're getting one new category and one new character into this tier 0 category, probably Jian will move one down. And this probably could mean that these three who are in the tier 0.5 category could also move down into the tier 1, and tier 1 move down into tier 2, and tier 2 characters probably move down into tier 3 partly. So yeah, I think this will be like the normal nature of the gacha game as it progresses, as we're getting more characters. But I'm pretty sure Jinhsi will stay here for a little bit longer. I'd say at least 2 patches is my guess. So this is not a guarantee, but I say at least for 2 patches, she will be in this tier 0 category. So just for completion, I probably go over these 3 characters just to see, because we have Colcharo and Encore, so these are not changed. They are here in this tier 0.5 category since the beginning of the patch, basically. And the Havoc Rover moved here newly. He newly moved into this tier. But there is one requirement to be in the tier 0.5 category, and that is that you have to have him on S3. His S3 is basically this one. In the Dark Surge state, basic attack V restores HP equal to 10% of total HP lost on hit. So basically he gets some sustain, which you shouldn't underestimate. I think this is very, very important. But I personally like this the most. Like, I like this not the most. Reset resonance skill cooldown when Rover enters the Dark Surge state by casting heavy attack devastation. So basically, this one I really like the most. So for me, honestly, if you have him on S2, he's already tier 0.5. I think the S3 is not the necessary nod to make him the tier 0.5 character. I think the S2 is it probably already, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter because you have him free to play anyway. You have him on S3 anyway. You don't have to do anything for that. So that's why I think this discussion is really unnecessary. So yeah, maybe we just go a little quick over the calculations on these characters just to compare them to the tier 0 characters. And yeah, then maybe we can. So for the Rover, we will take a look at S3. This is 360 damage. Then for Encore, S0 is also around 370k. And for Calcharo, this is 390k. So as you can see, the gap between Calcharo and Jian is not that big. 400k and 390k. So that already means that I'd say that that they possibly could belong into the same tier because of their damage and as well as their DPS. There's not a big gap in their DPS as well. And despite the fact that Calcharo pairs very well with Yinlin, who is currently also a tier 0 character, I really do think if you have Yinlin and Calcharo and Jian are basically on the same level. And Calcharo is maybe even above Jian. And yeah, that's why I think you could put them possibly in the same. So Encore is a little bit lower on S0, but her DPS and her rotation time is a little bit shorter than the one from Jinhsi and from Jian, like 1 second. Calcharo one's is nearly 12 seconds. That's like around the same. I'd say 0.2 seconds doesn't make a big difference, so it's probably the same. And for Encore, this is 360, so this is just a little bit less than Calcharo. It's not that much. It's like 20k overall damage and just 1k DPS. And if we compare this to the Rover, this is also almost the same. 32 DPS with the 11 seconds rotation time and 360k. This is really, they're almost really on same level. And I think Jian is just slightly above those characters, but just slightly. I think you could possibly move him down here already because I don't think that he's that much stronger than these characters, while Jinhsi is much stronger than those 4 characters here. Yeah, then Danjin, solid tier 1 character. I think if you don't have anything of these 4 characters, then I think Danjin is a really good option for your second DPS, for the second team in Tower of Adversity. You would want to use the Havoc Rover if you don't have any of those 4s, but yeah, then you just can use Danjin. But I think by this time, most of the people have one of those 4 characters. Still, I think he's a solid option to use. Tier 2 characters are most of the time very underrated characters. I still think Lingyang and Shixia, these are 2 characters that are still kind of underrated. But I think the placement on tier 2 is still fair. But what you have to understand is that tier 2 not automatically means that the character is like horrible or worse. He's still usable in the Tower of Adversity, but he is in a slight disadvantage compared to other characters. I don't want to say you rather want to use these characters over the characters in the tier 2 category, but tier 2 categories characters, they are a little bit worse. You have to say that. They do a little bit less damage, but in the right team composition, I think they still can go very well, because in this game, skill takes a little bit over the character. Yeah, in this game, you can make up your progression a little bit more with skill compared to any other game. That's why I think a tier 2 character is not in the frame to not be usable. I still think you can consider to use a tier 2 character for the Tower of Adversity. Then for the hybrid category, there's no changes. I think these are really the top 3 characters. Yilin, of course, is better than the current 4-star roster here. So she's by far now the best hybrid character. And I don't think that this will change that fast. I also think Yilin will stay here for 2 more patches, at least at tier 0, is my prediction, is my guess. As well as these 2 characters. I don't know how they will power creep these characters, because if there is a character that is coming out that is already better, then it will be placed here, but it won't change that you will pick these 2 characters. You just will pick another character over this, and this probably has to be a 5-star character that is in the tier 0 category. I don't think that there are characters that can be above these. Yeah. And then we have Yeonwoo. He got a little bit more relevant, I think, now. With the addition, as well as Alto. So I think they become a little bit more relevant, but it doesn't really make any changes into the tier list. I still think the placement here is fair, as well as for the Rover Spectro, even on S6. I think it is fairly to place him on tier 2 category. Yeah, then for tier 0 in the support category, Verena, of course, best character. I think Verena is obviously the best choice because she can heal and she can buff. She does bring up 2 things that are very, very necessary for the gameplay. Heal, sustainability, and a buff. Like, no other character in the game can do this, which why she obviously has the spot of being the best character here in the spot. But as soon as I still think if there is a new addition to this character, Verena will still stay here, and if there's another addition character, she also will still stay here. So I think Verena is really safe to be in this category for more than 2 patches, is my guess. I think it really takes at least 4 or 5 patches to power creep her to tier 0.5 is my guess. So at least 4 patches is my guess. For Jianshin, I think I see it different. Currently, there is no better choice. She was very underrated at the beginning. She's my favorite character, so I'm already biased to her. Honestly, I think tier 0.5 is just fair because there's no character that is better than her because she can shield and she can heal. She has 2 functions, but she takes a lot of screen time, which is the disadvantage of this character. So that's why I think she can be power crept very easily, even by a new 4-star character. And the rest is like kind of self-explanatory. So this is the next best healer that we have to Verena. And she is just better because she can heal and she can shield. So she does bring the utility there. But like the next best healer is this. So automatically she is in the tier 1 category, which is placed very, very fair. I could see that Qianshan moves down to tier 1 very quickly. And as soon as there are new additions into the support category. But for now, I think this is like very logic to me. Same goes for these characters. Like no one ever uses these characters. I never saw anyone uses these 2 characters just because of the fact, like she's really cool. She can group enemies and she has an AOE. But like most of the time, why would you want to use her if you can use these 2 characters? Like these are literally free. You should have at least one of those characters already. And why would you pick her over any of the other characters that are here in this category or in this category? So I think you would rather pick the roster on tier 0 to tier 1 before you would pick her. Same goes with her, Taoji. I think Taoji is, unfortunately, she has a really nice character design, but unfortunately I have to say that you would really rather pick any of the other support characters over her, which why she is, for now, on this tier list, she's probably the worst character. I have to honestly say that. So she can heal, she can shield, but like every character that can already heal can do it better. Every character that can shield also can do it better. So you rather want to pick these characters. Same goes for her. She can group enemies. Which is already really cool. But like besides that, you really want to rather use one of these 3 characters. I mean, you would rather want to use Yeonwoo as the slot here, even though, of course, if she takes a support role, I know that, but still, I would rather pick like 2 hybrids instead of picking her. So would be at least my composition, my guess here. So maybe we take a quick look at the changelog here, because Jinhsi is incredibly easy to play, has very few weakness in her kit, and does phenomenal cleave damage, giving every other damage dealer a run for their money. Despite her reliance on coordinated attacks, Jinhsi has suitable options when choosing her teammates for both spenders and free-to-play players as well. For these reasons, we're placing her in tier 0 alongside Jian, but will be keeping an eye on Jinhsi and Jian's performance moving forward to see if either of them can edge each other out in thorough testing and in the eyes of the community. Oh, they also changed Yonwu from tier 2 to tier 1, yeah. Oh yeah, I just mentioned that. Yonwu became more relevant. Yonwu finally has a place to call home, and it's side by side with Jinhsi. Yonwu isn't necessarily a best coordinated attack teammate, but he definitely gets the job done even at S0S. Yonwu now has a very meta relevance when moving him up to tier 1, and will keep an eye on his performance as the community has more time to test him with Jinhsi. Yeah, I just mentioned that already, I think. So because of the release of Jinhsi, he moved up, he became more relevant, but it's like not that he is now really broken. Is there anything else? Yeah, the Spectral Rover moved from tier 1 to tier 2. Spectral Rover certainly isn't bad, but suffers from the fact that they directly conflict with the superior option, Havoc Rover. Only being able to use one or the other, with most people choosing Havoc, is a massive demerit for this character who currently doesn't have any known teams they're strictly the best in. On top of this, we feel Yonwu has more meta relevance than Spectral Rover, so keeping them together in the same tier doesn't feel right. For these reasons, we're moving Spectral Rover down a tier. So yeah, seems very logically to me. So they probably just changed the position of this and this, because this became more relevant to use alongside with her, and you would also rather choose this character over this character, and you cannot use them at the same time, which why they moved him one tier down. Yeah, with that being said, I got over everything into the current tier list. Hope you guys did enjoy. Definitely subscribe for more gacha gaming content, probably more Wuthering Waves content, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.